everyone, I'm JB Bautista from Palawan State University and we're going to debate the Cavite Mutiny. This debate will show you the story of Cavite Mutiny. But before anything else, I would like to remind all the debaters that facts should be reliable, convincing, and last, you should be trustworthy. Now, I would like to introduce you the proposition side, Arnold Estrella, John Lloyd Pineda, and Orwell Tristan Abad. And the other side, representing the opposition side, are Paulo Nias Abeto and Romeo Gabriel Medina. Before the debate starts again, I'm JB Bautista, the moderator of this debate. So now, let's start and listen of the two versions of Cavite Mutiny. Which side will you believe and whose side is more reliable? The Spanish side or the Filipino side? So may I call upon the first speaker from the Filipino side. I will give you time to speak. You may start now.
Good day to everyone, to our judges and audiences. The topic for today is to find out who has a more reliable information, the Filipino or the Spanish side. I will be stating our side and give arguments to prove our claims. First off, the unjust decision of the Spanish government, led by Governor General Rafael Esquerdo, to force soldiers into threatening the workers to pay extra taxes other than the current taxes that they are paying, through the means of money or forced labor on the politician or puloy servisyo, which resulted to the revolt. According to Dr. Trinidad Hermenegildo Pardo de Tavara, a Filipino scholar and researcher, the mutiny caused by the Filipino soldiers and workers was because of the abolition of their privilege and the prohibition of the founding of a school of arts and trades for Filipino by Governor Esquerdo. He suspected that they want to build a school to cover up their true intention, which is to create a political club. But the mutiny truly started when the Spanish government sentenced three innocent priests to death, namely Father Jose Burgos, Father Mariano Gomez, and Father Jacinto Zamora, to show their power over the citizens.
Thank you, Prime Minister, and now we shall hear the first speaker of the opposition side.
Hello everyone, this is the head of the opposition. In this house, believes that the Spanish side is more trustworthy. I want to provide 3 points for why I'm on this side. Yes, it was stated in both versions that the primary reason for the uprising was the abolishment of privilege enjoyed by Cavite artisanal laborers, but according to historian John Schumacher, there is written proof that Governor General Rafael himself wrote that the abolition of privilege such as non-payment of tributes and exemption from forced labor were not the main reason, but rather the desire of the Filipinos to be free from the ruling system of the time.
Thank you, Deputy Leader. And now let's proceed to the next speaker of the proposition side.
On January 20, 1872, a group of about 200 troops, arsenal workers, and Cavite citizens led by Sergeant Ramadillos out in arms and assassinate the commanding commander and all Spanish officials inside. Unfortunately, the insurgents did not receive assistance from the majority of the army. When word of mutiny reached Manila, General Esquerdo ordered the reinforcement of Spanish army in Cavite right away. The revolt was officially proclaimed over after 2 days. It is thought that the Spanish missionaries Esquerdo was using the Cavite mutiny as a powerful lever to overthrow the Spanish government in the Philippines by magnifying it as a full-blown conspiracy involving not only native army but also citizens of Cavite and Manila, and most importantly the native clergy. It is worth noting that the central administration in Madrid proclaimed at the time that the friars would be stripped of all powers of intervention in matters of civil authority and educational guidance and management. This turn of events, according to Ibarra, spurred the friars to take harsh measures in their desperate attempt to keep authority in the Philippines. The Filipinos' desire to fight for their freedom grew so strong that they launched a rising insurrection. This method of fighting would be not the best approach to fight for what is fair and just, but Filipinos have no other option. We believe that the Filipinos will openly accept the Spanish conquest before the Spanish manage the Philippines equally in terms of how they cover the country. Want it or not, the Philippines was already in such a weak position that even its own citizen could not manage it. I believe that by killing the Gomborza or the three priests, Mariano Gomez, Jose Burgos, and Jacinto Zamora, the Spaniards were merely sparring the act of mutiny and demonstrating that the Spaniards only see Filipinos as laborers and never see us the same level as themselves. The Spaniards only started planning on how they could utilize us Filipinos.
Thank you for your remark. I now call upon the second speaker for the opposition side.
The two testimonies were complementary and corroborated one another, with the exception that General's report was more scathing. Initially, both Montero and Escuadro claimed that the abolition of right enjoyed by Cavite arsenal employees, such as non-payment of tributes and exemption from forced labor, were the primary cause of the revolution as they called it. However, other causes were enumerated by them, including the Spanish Revolution, which overthrew the circular trove, dirty propaganda spread by unrestrained press, democratic, liberal, and republican books and pamphlets, reaching the Philippines, and most importantly, the presence of the native clergy who out animosity against the Spanish friars, conspired and supported the rebels and enemies of Spain.
Thank you for your remark. I now call upon the third speaker for the proposition side.
Fearful of losing their power in the Philippines, the friars exploited the incident and presented it to the Spanish authorities as part of a broad conspiracy spanning the archipelago with the goal of overthrowing Spanish government. Convicted educated males sentenced to life in jail for their roles in the revolt, while members of their native clergy, led by the Gomburza, were tried and executed by garrote. This incident sparked the emergence of nationalism, which leads to the eruption of the Philippine Revolution in 1896. The testimony of Edmond Plotiot, a French writer, supported Taveras' account by affirming that the event occurred as a result of dissatisfaction among the arsenal employees and troops in Cavite Fort. The Frenchman, on the other hand, focused on the execution of the three martyr priests, which he witnessed firsthand. We were colonized by the Spanish people for 3 centuries, and we all know that the people who lived during that time suffered greatly, despite the fact that they made significant contributions to this country and influenced us in some ways. However, does that change the fact that we were enslaved by them? I believe that the Filipinos do not deserve the abuse that the Spaniards have given them. As your first speaker, I stand by and believe in my own race perspective. Thank you.
For your remark, the third opposition speaker will now deliver the last speech opposing the case.
Escuadro condemned the rowdy Spanish press, in particular for stockpiling poisonous propaganda sized by Filipinos. He informed the King of Spain that the rebels intended to destabilize the Spanish government in order to install a new hari in the likes of the Father Burgos and Zamora. The commander went on to say that the native clergy attracted additional volunteers by promising them charismatic certainty that their fight would not fail because God was on their side, as well as attractive offers of job, wealth, and army levels. In his report, Escuadro slammed the Indios as gullible and prone to theft. And based on the data I've shown, I'm here to argue that the Spanish version is more trustworthy than the Filipino version.
Thank you everyone to both sides of our debater. Now, based on the result with the most points, congrats to the Filipino side for having a good proof and proving themselves that they can. Also to the side of the Spanish team for putting in their best efforts in their defense. Thank you everyone, have a nice day.